Good evening, everyone. Ms. Grimaldo, would you make the announcement again, please?
Sure, Ms. Bloom. Buenas tardes a todos. En este momento vamos a empezar la reunión. Si nos hacen favor, si necesitan traducción, haga clic en el símbolo del mundo en la parte baja de su página. Seleccione el idioma, que en este caso sería español, y luego va a estar listo para oír la presentación en español. Gracias.
Hello, Madison Middle School families. Thank you for joining us today. We very much appreciate your partnership as we continue to team together to build a foundation of success with your students. Moving on. Ms. Grimaldo, would you do it one last time?
Buenas tardes. Si necesitan traducción, por favor, haga clic en el símbolo del mundo en la parte baja de su pantalla. Seleccione el idioma que a usted le gustaría, en este caso, español, y está listo para allí la presentación en español. Gracias.
Moving on. With this semesterly meeting, we want to review our school-wide expectations, introduce our 8th grade activities and culmination requirements, and of course, answer your questions. Please use the Q&A feature at the bottom of your screen to type your question during the presentation. We'll continually answer them throughout the meeting and then collect all the most asked ones to answer live at the end to review the most important information. We are recording this session and it will be available on our website by Monday for further review. I'm Cheryl Bloom, the proud principal of the Madison Middle School and Magnets community. And we are a community, all of us, parents, students, and staff, working together to provide a safe and inclusive environment for everyone. As some of you already know, I live by this Maya Angelou quote, "Do the best you can until you know better. And then when you know better, do better." I firmly believe in growth mindset, and I am always learning and growing, which is precisely what we want from all of our students. No one is perfect, and we understand that our students, especially, need grace to support them on this path to maturity. Everyone makes the occasional bad decision or has a bad moment, something unfortunately you do not grow out of. But part of our job as adults is to help our students through these times, manage the inevitable consequences, and learn from the experiences. Research shows that students require structure of a school community and the understanding that all decisions provoke consequences, good and bad. We're here to support them, regardless of the outcome, to allow them to grow into productive members of society. We emphasize respect and tolerance from everyone to everyone. That's our mission. Moving on. To provide the foundation for our students to be successful once they leave us, going to high school, college, and beyond. Moving on. Our goals are simple and make the students bulldog best. Moving on. Our WASC student learner outcomes, or SLOs, which you see on the screen, give our culminates the skills to progress with their education and live proudly and confidently. Bulldogs are best, and this is the foundation we hope that each student leaves with from us as they culminate. We want them to be great thinkers, complex, critical, and creative. We want them to be great communicators, effective, and great collaborators, both verbally and on paper. We want them to be strong and responsible learners, and we especially want them to be positive and productive citizens for the next part of their journey and for the entire community. Our expectations are clear. We've discussed them with our stakeholders many times, such as orientation and our fall and now spring meetings, and they are always worth reviewing. The first part of this meeting, you'll hear and see from my fabulous assistant principals, counselors, and coordinators about our common behavioral expectations. And the second part focuses on 8th grade activities and culmination. Thank you again for joining us. And we're going to start with Mr. Balistreri, our Intervention Prevention Support Coordinator, about behavioral standards. I'm not sure that Mr. Balistreri is here yet, so that we don't interrupt the flow of the meeting, let me just cover his slides. We are very big, of course, for safety on campus. We want to keep all of our students safe. We want to keep a very inclusive learning community. And so we stress very much respect for self, respect for others, and respect for environment. Very important. So we will not tolerate bullying. We will not tolerate racial slurs or derogatory language to anyone or about anyone or obscenities. And thank you, Mr. Balistreri, for joining us. Why don't you pick up from here?
Thank you. I was finally able to unmute myself somehow. All right, so thank you for joining us this evening. I'm just going to go over some basic, some rules and expectations for our middle school. We've seen these before. So our students should not be bullying in any way, should not be using any racial slurs or derogatory language, either verbally or written or drawn or online especially. That can be an issue. We don't expect any vandalism or destruction of property. And play fighting, whether it's at lunch or in the classroom or during passing periods, can sometimes lead to a real fight. So we don't encourage any roughhousing or play fighting, because sometimes one of the students may not feel that it's play and can turn into something more serious. We expect our students to be respectful towards everyone, students, staff, especially. And we expect our students to be on time to class and in class all the time. They have plenty of time to get from room to room when the bell rings, and students are required by law, as Ms. Taylor will talk to you about later, to be in class all the time. On the bottom, it mentions social media, which is related to obviously cell phone use and computers. A lot of the issues that we have at schools are sometimes related to what the students are doing on the telephone, cell phone, whether it's Instagram or TikTok or Snapchat, text messages, group chats, things that students are posting can be really insensitive. There's a lot of bullying on Instagram. There are many Madison middle school pages on Instagram where students are really not very nice to each other. And sometimes it's brought to our attention and we have to deal with it at school because it's starting to affect things at school. So we encourage you as a parent to monitor what your child is doing on social media and with their telephones, how much time they're spending on the phone, what they're doing on the phone, what they're posting, and what they're looking at, so they don't have problems related to social media. I know it is a challenge, having had children at this age myself a few years ago, having to learn how to set up the parental controls on a cell phone. It's not always easy, but it is possible for you to control what apps they're using, how much time they spend on those apps, and then also for you to be able to look at it and control it yourself. Next slide, I guess, which brings us to the cell phone policy of the school district, which we follow at Madison Middle School, which is that cell phones need to be off during the school day. Students are supposed to be turning their cell phones off before 8:30 and putting them away in their bags or somewhere safe. And then turning them back on at the end of the school day at 3:18. Unless it's a Tuesday, then at 2:12. If the students have an emergency and they need to call home or talk to you for some reason, we do have telephones in the offices, the attendance office, the main office, counselors' offices all have phones where they can make a phone call if necessary. We don't encourage parents to be calling their cell phones during the day or even texting with their children during the day. That's can be disruptive in the classroom. There have been many times where teachers have had to take students' phones away from them in the classroom because the phone is ringing or they see the student texting in the classroom. Other staff during passing periods or at lunch are taking phones away from children because they're using them. We have them put in the main office in the safe, and then they can pick them up after school. If it happens more than once, twice, then we have to have parents come and pick them up from the main office. Please make sure your child understands this. This is a kind of important thing because it's violated a lot. There's a lot of students using phones at school when they're not supposed to, especially when incidents happen, unfortunate incidents happen where students are possibly in some kind of situation where it's unsafe and students are recording with their phones. Students are recording things such as fights, and they end up being posted online through Instagram or some other social media site. And then we have I don't know what you want to call it. The students seem to think that being posted on Instagram is something of a badge of honor, but it's really can affect them in their future careers because those videos are there forever. And we don't want to see that. So please make sure that they're following the policy on the cell phones. Next, we have information regarding uniforms. So this is nothing new either. Everybody knows this. We have a policy of students wearing navy blue pants or not jeans or tights, but they need to have navy blue bottoms, which can include sweatpants, and of course the navy blue or white collared shirt. They can also wear their Madison t-shirts, their magnet shirts, and the SAS shirt or the Mr. Rosenblatt shirt on any day. It doesn't have to be just on a Friday, it can be any day. When students are not in uniform for whatever reason, we have loaners for them. We have clean, brand new sweats and shirts that we can give them. And when we do this, we typically trade them whatever t-shirt they have and a cell phone. And then they come and pick it up at the end of the day. The cell phones are kept in a backpack in the safe in the office. When the students are on that list more than once, we can issue further consequences such as the loss of the Buster badge, which includes free dress on Mondays. We'll definitely be calling home, setting up a parent conference if necessary. And if it's too many times, we can assign them some lunchtime intervention. If a student has a problem with either affording uniforms or not being able to get uniforms for whatever reason, we can certainly help out and provide students with uniforms as much as we can. We're coming around in the mornings, especially first, second period in the mornings. There's several of us who have been coming around the last few weeks to check on students. We have caught quite a few. Most of the students are in uniform, which is great, and we appreciate that. Please make sure your children are in uniform as much as possible. Thank you very much. I believe, is it Miss Altunian who's next? I'm not sure.
I'll go ahead and
Thank you.
speak on the tiers. So we have a tiered system of consequences at Madison Middle School. Oh, by the way, my name is Miss Altunian and I'm one of the assistant principals. So we have a tiered system of consequences at Madison Middle School, and it is, we have 3 levels of tiers. So our tiered system of consequences is how we ensure students receive the intervention they need to have a positive learning experience and environment in the classroom so that teachers are able to, of course, teach and students, your children are able to learn in the classroom. So in order to assist with any misbehaviors that might happen in the classroom, we have we begin with level 1, tier 1, which occurs in the classroom with the teacher. So if anything happens in the classroom that distracts the learning environment, the teacher, for example, might give a gentle warning or a reminder, or make a seat change. So the teacher would handle it in the classroom, and they might even decide to contact the parent at the time. And once the behavior, hopefully it will not, but once the behavior does escalate to tier 2, then we have counselors, coordinators, some other out of classroom staff involved to help with the child's behavior in the classroom. And tier 2 might look like a parent conference meeting with a counselor involved to assist with the behavior. And then if it escalates to a tier 3, then we have what is called an SSPT meeting, and that is a bigger team meeting that involves coordinators, administrators, counselors, parents, student, and basically at the SSPT meeting, we discuss interventions that can take place for the student. We set goals. The student might be put on a daily behavior chart. So it really depends on the student need. So that's our tier 3. And at each of the steps, we do have parents contacted and documented. Of course, we document everything. So everything goes into the student's records. So we always try to mitigate any misbehaviors right from the beginning at tier 1 so that many students don't go up to tier 3, of course. Thank you. Next slide. Ms. Hernandez.
Good evening, everyone. So same, we do have the same tier system as far as outside behavior. That would mean during lunchtime, in between class periods. Again, we want to keep our students safe, and that means inside the classroom and outside the classroom. Behavior that often is seen outside of the classroom if roughhousing and horseplaying. There's absolutely no tolerance for that. Like Mr. Ballesteri explained, sometimes it can lead to bigger issues, jumping on each other's backs or play fighting. In that case, if that happens outside during lunchtime, the behavior will be corrected and stopped, and the student may be benched for a period of time to reflect. Tier 2, again, the behavior will be stopped and the student will be benched and a phone call will be made home. If it escalates and they continue after the 3rd attempt to stop the behavior, the student will then be sent to Mr. Ballesteri, and there will be a lunchtime intervention addressed for the child, whether or not it'll be 1 or 2 days, that would be depending on the situation. As well as a phone call home to notify you that this consequence has been made to your child. And next is Ms. Taylor to discuss attendance.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Mrs. Taylor, and I'm the Pupil Services and Attendance Counselor at Madison. I'm going to talk to you very briefly about attendance and tardies. First, students attending school every day and on time is the law. Under Education Code 48900, which governs that every school-age children from 6 to 18 years old need to attend regular compulsory education. Please remember that the first bell rings at 8:20, and this is what we're saying to the students as well, that at that point they should be walking over to their class, directly to their classroom, and to make it in by 8:30. So as long as your children are in their classroom by 8:30, they will not be marked tardy. They will, teachers also will be handing out a very limited number of passes during instruction time. So the teachers may ask your students to turn in their cell phones, because sometimes what we see happening is that students are asking to leave, not necessarily to use the restroom, but to go get on their phones. So the teacher may ask your child to hand over his phone, they hold it, and as soon as they come back into the classroom, may give it right back to your student, your child. Also, if your child contacts you during school hours, which we have said before, they're not allowed on their phone, but for whatever reason, if they are contacting you, letting you know that they're ill, please advise them to go see the school nurse first. Or you can call us directly in the attendance office, and we will follow up with your child and help the best way we can, all to ensure that your child doesn't miss any more instruction time. Also, please remember, attendance matters when it comes to students earning attendance incentives. We do bi-monthly Starbucks giveaways, gift card giveaways, in and out giveaways. So this is how the students are chosen for these incentives. Earning higher grades is tied into better attendance, getting their Buster badge, and participating in all school activities, including culmination activities and the ceremony itself. And my office is in the attendance office. Should you have any questions about your child's attendance, if you want a printout of their attendance history, just come into the attendance office and ask to see Ms. Taylor, and I will give you a printout and help in any way that I can. Thank you for your time and have a great rest of the evening.
Hi, I'm Stacy Willard. I'm the Discover Academy coordinator, and I'm going to start to talk to you a bit about the things that are special for our 8th graders, right? So first of all, please remember this is a really big year for them. These are memories that they're going to have for their entire life. And you don't want to miss out on these. So many kids every year, their parents didn't buy them and they're so sad about it. So please, if you can budget for it, start planning for it now. The panoramic picture, that's the big picture that includes all of their classmates. They're going to take that picture March 10th. So that's coming up soon. And that will be on sale for $30. Their yearbooks. And like I've said, I told the kids this, I still have my panoramic picture and my yearbook from 8th grade. I mean, they really are that meaningful. They are $40 on pre-sale. That means before they actually arrive at school, and then they're $45 after that. But there is a package deal at the very bottom, which is the absolute best price that we can do. So it's both the panoramic and the yearbook, so they get both of them for only $60. So if you guys can start to plan for that, please make sure that if you send that money to school with your kids, they know what it's for, because they definitely will want those items, and you won't want to miss out.
Okay, awards night. Our awards night will be April 20th. Next slide, please. And let's see. I'm sorry. On April 20th, we'll celebrate students who were nominated by their teachers for being our most talented and hardworking students. I'm sorry, hold on. Sorry, an invitation will be given to each student receiving an award in their advisory class on Wednesday, April 12th or Thursday, April 13th. The invitation permits 2 people to be present at the 8th grade awards night. Please bring your invitation with you for entrance. Now, awards night will also celebrate our students who will be receiving the Madison Service Award. And the Madison Service Award is for all those students who have accumulated 100 volunteer hours on Madison's campus, and they will be recognized for their efforts as well. Next slide, please. And this is how the invitation would look for awards night. And it will start promptly at 5 p.m. So please arrive before 5 p.m. to the Madison Quad area. Next slide, please.
Okay, hello everyone. So let's go over some of the rewards and positive incentives that we have here at Madison. So one of them is the free dress that students get every Monday as long as they have a Buster badge. In order to qualify for the Buster badge, they need a 2.5 GPA, no use in cooperation, and a 96% attendance rate. So that really equates to not having more than 7 unexcused absences. And if there are any questions in regards to the attendance rate your child might have, definitely reach out to Ms. Taylor. She's amazing and she can help you guys with all of it. I'll quickly introduce myself. So I am Ms. Goldstein, your TSP EO coordinator. So any questions in regards to any of those areas, please feel free to reach out. But again, we have a lot of rewards and positive incentives here at Madison for our students, and the Buster Badge is just one of them. We have other incentives, awards as well. So if we could please move on to the next slide. Thank you so much. So we talked a little bit about the Buster Badge Mondays. We also have the Starbucks Days giveaway. So the Starbucks Days are really a community partnership that Madison has with our local Starbucks, and they provide us with rewards to give to our students who have great attendance. Also during lunch, in the NPR, there are games, movies, and different sports games that are done. And then we also have Fun Fridays in the quad, if the weather allows it. Today, the weather did not allow it, but there's usually music, games, different things happening in our quad. And then there's going to be future student and staff games. And then there's field trips all year long. And so students can participate in those field trips either through the magnet programs they belong to, through the discovery program, or even sometimes there's special field trips based on clubs or student groups. And so all of that is available to our Madison community. And it's really based on getting all of these rewards based on just having good grades, positive behavior, participating in class, not having tardies or unexcused absences, again, showing good citizenship, good behavior, and just in general, always making good choices. So thank you so much. If you guys have any questions, again, Ms. Goldstein, please feel free to reach out. And before I'm done, I'm gonna present our wonderful and amazing teacher, Mr. Thompson. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Ms. Goldstein. Okay, hello everyone. My name is Mr. Thompson, and I am the 8th grade sponsor, and I will be presenting the farewell dance. The farewell dance this year will be on Friday, May 19th, and it will be from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. In order for students to attend the farewell dance, we are expected that each student have their parent or guardian complete a student agreement form. And they will purchase their farewell ticket at the student store. Only students who are eligible to culminate may participate. And all agreement forms will be distributed through the advisory classes. At the farewell dance, the students can expect to have refreshments, music from a DJ. We hope to have a live photo booth. We will have a live photo booth this year. And also last year we did pizza, and there will be pizza again for this year. Once again, the dance will start promptly at 6 p.m. and will end at 8 p.m. And we are expecting all parents to pick their students up exactly at 8. All students are also expected to enter the front gate and exit the front gate on Hart Street. Moving on. Here are some dance rules, specifically discussing attire. Students must wear semi-formal attire and must comply with all rules, including COVID requirements. In order for students to attend the dance, they must also attend school that day. Once again, Friday, May 19th. So if a student purchases a ticket and they do not attend school that day, they will not be allowed to attend the dance. Additionally, all students are subject to be checked for inappropriate items. So we encourage all backpacks and bags to remain at home. Students with inappropriate items, such as markers, narcotics, weapons, illegal substances, or students who display inappropriate behavior will not be allowed to remain at the event, and they will not receive a refund. Once again, students may be searched by any supervising adult. Moving on. Once again, discussing dress code, please make sure your child dresses appropriately for the occasion and follows all guidelines listed below. Students who do not dress accordingly will not be a part of the dance. The dress code is as follows. Students may not wear the following: no jeans or sweats of any kind, no t-shirts or shirts with logos. Moving on. Now I would like to introduce Ms. McNulty, our magnet coordinator.
Good evening, parents, guardians, and families. My name is Miss McNulty, and I'm going to discuss the 8th grade picnic, which occurs on June 2nd from 1:30 to 3:30 p.m. So tickets for this event are going to be sold in the student store for $20 cash. This is a first come, first serve basis. So after 300 tickets are sold, we are sold out. Each ticket will include a cheeseburger, fries, and drink from Tommy's. And only the students that are eligible to culminate are allowed to participate. In addition, students can bring $5 or $7 cash to purchase Kona Ice if they want to. That's optional. And both the picnic and the dance, you can purchase a ticket for $35, which would save you $5. So for any parents that know that their child wants to participate in the picnic and the dance, you can get it for $35. I do want to let families know that Mr. Thompson sent a Google form out to all Schoology groups, to all the 8th grade Schoology groups for both Magnets and the Discover Academy, where students can fill out a survey indicating if they plan on attending the picnic, and also if they want to order something special like a veggie patty or a grilled cheese sandwich as opposed to an actual cheeseburger. So I encourage you to ask your child to please make sure they fill out the Google form to let us know if they will be attending or not attending. It's a really fun event. Leadership and Mr. Thompson and Ms. Schwartz work really hard. So a shout out to them to put on this great event that has music and games. And it's a really fun opportunity for kids to reconnect, one last time with their classmates and maybe have some yearbook signing with teachers and whatnot. So it's a really fun event. I encourage people to do it. I'm going to pass it on to Miss Bloom, our incredible principal, who is going to talk about culmination. Thank you.
Before Ms. Bloom continues, I am going to go over the #1 question parents have at this time, and that is, what are the requirements for my child to be able to culminate this year? So 2.0 grade point average is a must. If you are unsure how to calculate your child's GPA, having your students' final fall semester report card on hand is important. If you have Schoology, you may find your ICP report, your student's ICP report there. But if you want to calculate it, in order to find the GPA, you add up points, and that goes, an A is a 4 point, B is 3 points, C is 2 points, and D is 1 point. Fail is 0. You add them all together and you divide that by 7. That is how you will find your child's GPA. There are no more than 3 U's combined in work habits and cooperation allowed if the student is to culminate, and that we look at your final spring semester report card. There are no more than 2 fails allowed, and that is combined with your 20-week and your 40-week report card, fall and spring. Campus citizenship is really important. It's important for our students to be their best student, and they must make good choices in and outside the classroom, especially when it comes to following the rules with our uniform and tardies. Again, attendance is really important. 96% COVID-related absences are excused, and if you do have absences, if your child does have an absence that is excused by you, please make sure to clear it through the attendance. Another thing that needs to be cleared is all school debts. Those debts include library, any technology related debts, and textbook fines. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Hernandez. Those requirements for culmination also go for the dance and the picnic. So students need to be culmination ready in order to participate in the dance and the picnic. So we want to keep our students to a pretty high standard here. And now we get to culmination, which of course is what everybody is waiting to see and hear. It is June 8th at 2023. It's a Thursday morning and it will be at Grant High School, which is about a mile away from us. It's 13,000 Oxnard Street, and that's the front of the school where you are going to drop off your students. Moving on. Let's talk about the information for the ceremony. We are beginning promptly at 8 o'clock in the morning. It gets very hot otherwise. When we say promptly, we do mean promptly. So we expect the students to be at Grant at 7 o'clock in the morning. That's when we are going to line them up and get them all ready and make sure that we're all ready to proceed into the processional. Because it's 8 o'clock and because we're asking for 7 o'clock, we will also open the gates for the parents and the family members, which is on Ethel, to the stadium. We are culminating in the Grant Stadium like we did last year. We find that number one, we can give out basically as many tickets as possible for the family members, because we know a lot of people want to join us. And also we like the idea of the fact that it gives the students something to look forward to. It's their next step. They should be 4 years later at a high school in the stadium, just like that, as they graduate and receive their diplomas. So at 7 o'clock, we want the students at the front gate on Oxnard. And we would like parents to start coming into the stadium, which is on Ethel. Parking is difficult on the street, but we do have reserved the parking structure right next to the stadium, which is actually Valley College's parking structure, but we are borrowing it for the morning. We suggest that you arrive as early as possible, closer to 7 rather than closer to 8, because we do need at the gate to take your tickets, and we want you to have enough time to go to the seat where you would like to be, to sit down, to get comfortable before we come out with the kids at 8 o'clock. Again, everybody will receive at least 4 tickets. After that, if you need more, there will be more available, just much closer to the event of culmination. If you have a child who is under 3 and can sit on your lap, then that child does not need a ticket. Otherwise, absolutely everybody needs a ticket. We are going to provide water for the students because, as I said, it's usually very hot at this time of year. And unless we are very lucky and get a cloud cover, it could be well into the 90s before we're done. So we do put water under the seat for every student so that we make sure that they stay well hydrated. We want you to stay well hydrated. You can certainly bring your own water, or we will have water for sale at the ceremony. Moving on. Okay, what can you not bring in? And this is really important. We want everybody to have a good view of their student culminating, to see them cross the stage, to see them get their certificate of completion, to see them march up, to see them march back. It's very important that we assure that every single person has the opportunity to view their students. So because of that, we will not allow balloons. We will not allow any large objects. We will not allow any noisemakers, because that's going to interfere with someone listening for their student's name. And we will not allow any umbrellas, because all of these things, as I said, interfere with someone's ability to enjoy the ceremony. We also don't want the students to hold anything. We're going to get to that in just a second. But it's very important that we adhere to these. When you come in through the gate in Ethel and hand over your ticket, if you are holding anything that cannot be allowed, we will ask you to go and put it back into your car. It's probably better if you just don't bring it at all anyway, but it will have to stay otherwise in your car, because we want to make sure that we provide an optimal experience for everyone. Moving on. Dress code. It's very simple. We want everybody to be nicely dressed. This is a ceremony. So nice pants, nice shirt, I told the students today, you could actually wear your uniform. I'm sure none of them are going to, but you could actually wear your uniform if you would like. We don't want jeans or sweatpants. We don't want t-shirts. We want them to be comfortable. So as I said, nice slacks, a nice shirt. I wouldn't necessarily suggest a tie. That's not necessary. And definitely probably not a jacket because it's going to probably be hot. For anyone who wants to wear a dress or a skirt, that is fine too. It is going to be out there in the ceremony for an hour and a half. And there is going to be a lot of walking that the students have to do. So we want them to be comfortable. We want them to be covered, maybe sunscreen. If they want to wear sunglasses or hats, that would be okay too. We want them to protect themselves. Again, that's why we have the water under the chair. The other thing that's really important is no heels and no wedges. All shoes must be flat. And that's for a variety of reasons. It is a safety concern. The students are walking, by the time they finish the recessional, the students have walked probably 3/4 of a mile, and that's a long way to go. It takes a while once we set up in the front of the school to get them into their lines. The processional, it is on the field, which is their football and soccer field. So it's well over 100 yards, like a football field. And we want to make sure that there's no tripping hazards, no falling, nothing like that. Also, as I said, this is Grant's field, meaning that they play football and soccer there. And heels tend to make little divots, and that's a very unsafe atmosphere for students in the football, on the football team or on the soccer teams to be running around. So no heels, no wedges, flats only. Tennis shoes are just fine, but something the students are comfortable in walking in. If they are not wearing the appropriate shoes, then we will ask them to call you, to call their parents, and to get the appropriate shoes because they will not be allowed on the field unless they are dressed accordingly. What can they wear besides their nice clothes? They can wear the leis, they can wear the sashes or the medals or the cords that they get at the awards night, anything like that. Just nothing in their hands. So no flowers, please, and no phones. We will collect the phones from the students before the ceremony if they are bringing them. We want their hands unobstructed because they're going to get up, they're going to get their certificate of completion, they're going to shake hands or fist bumps, and we want them to make sure that they're not going to lose their phones or drop them or break them. And so no phones and no flowers in their hands. Moving on. Here is a summary of all that we've talked about. As Ms. Willard said, she has her panorama picture, and I certainly hope she brings it in. I just got mine out from my middle school and mine from my high school, and I'm going to post them in my office because we do keep them for a lifetime. And we're going to have our panorama picture on Friday, March 10th at 2 p.m. in the quad. Students are either going to be in their uniforms or they may wear their 8th grade t-shirts or sweatshirts at that time too. We went over awards night. Ms. Altunian talked about it. It's April 20th at 5 p.m. in the quad. Farewell dance, Mr. Thompson talked about that, May 19th, which is a Friday from 6 to 8 p.m. in the quad. We're going to have sort of a Hollywood under the stars theme. We have our picnic, which is going to be with Tommy's chili cheeseburgers, June 2nd at 1:30 in the PE field. That is for anyone who has students in the 6th and 7th grade. That is a minimum day, so students are out at 1:24, so we can devote the whole afternoon to our 8th graders. And then, of course, culmination is June 8th, Thursday at 8 a.m. at Grant High School. Students who are 6th and 7th graders, the last day of instruction is indeed June 9th. So we expect the 6th and 7th graders on Friday. Now, that is the end of our presentation. So I would like to know, Ms. Grimaldo, are there any questions that were asked in the chat that would be wonderful to answer live? I do know there is one. Someone asked about Madison hours. Ms. Altunian, would you like to address the Madison hours for the Madison Award?
Yes, so basically in order to earn Madison hours, your 8th grader can come see Miss Hernandez or Miss Shakarian. They are the 8th grade counselors. And I believe Miss Hernandez has the logs, and she will inform your child how to gain those hours. They basically have to volunteer at certain things on our campus, just like parent conference night or any events we have. They help out basically, and they accumulate those hours, which they log on a piece of paper that we give them, and then they turn it in before the end of the year. So we will inform them in more detail when they come see us in the guidance office.
Thank you, Ms. Altunian. And we have a question. When will the 8th graders be returning the school supplies? All of the books and their laptops will be the last week of school. And that's also when we will hand out the tickets, and we do all kinds of practicing for culmination, etc. So all that happens after the 8th grade grades are due, which is the beginning of June, the end of February, end of May. Okay, are there any other questions?
There was one question, Ms. Bloom.
Yes.
Will there be any accommodations for a person with disabilities?
Absolutely. Let our office know, the main office, what you need. And it is a ADA compliant stadium. And can we purchase extra tickets? The answer is actually no, they're not for purchase. They are to be given away. We don't charge anything for culmination. After the 4 tickets, if you need more, we are most happy to give them, and that will be done closer in June to the actual event. Now we have taped this so that we will put it back onto our website by Monday, so you can see it and review it at any time. We will also be sending the information about the 8th grade activities. We'll put that onto our website, and we talked to your students about it today, and we'll talk to them tomorrow as well. And it will be repeated a lot so that everybody has the opportunity to take full advantage of all of the great activities that the 8th graders are entitled to, and plus the culmination. And if you have ever any questions, you can always contact us at the main office. I want to thank you very much for your attention tonight, and call us if you need anything else. And we wish you a very good night. And we will see all of the students tomorrow bright and early before 8:30, because as Ms. Taylor said, 8:30 is when they need to be in class. Thank you all very much, and good night.